This episode of the Official Block podcast is presented in proud partnership with Amazon, Cosentino, Freedom Furniture, Kinsman and Mitre 10. 20 years of the block and still, this was a week unlike any other we've seen before. There was a tearful goodbye to Jesse and Paige, a twist prank that saw contestants spiral, and the youngest blockheads ever thrown right into the deep end of Phillip Island. And somehow, a whole bunch of bedrooms still managed to get created. Well, who else could we possibly be talking to? It is the new kids on the block, Maddy and Charlotte. They are up very soon. But first, were sweet dreams made of this week's main bedrooms? Darren Palmer will tell us next. This is the Official Block Podcast. He's our main man here to talk about main bedrooms. Darren, welcome back to the Official Block Podcast.
I love that. Main bedrooms, main man.
The main man.
The main man.
Hey, we're nearly halfway through the season now. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it's a really great time to swap some contestants out, I thought.
Never been done before. Why not?
Why not? Why not do it right in the middle of the whole competition? Like, why not just go, hey, I know, let's just start again.
Yes. Can you imagine what that must feel like for Maddy and Charlotte? I can't. That would be so bizarre.
Every part of that I can't process. I can't process how hard that must have been for Jesse and Paige. I can't process how hard that was for all the team behind the scenes and everybody in production, everybody that is actually running the show and keeping this thing on the rails, and the build teams and the builders, and then our new contestants.
I guess the question is, how did they cope? Darren, let's cut straight to it. We are there standing in the main bedroom of House 1, which we know the main bedrooms are a main selling point for every house in the country because, you know, that's where the purchaser of the home is going to spend their time. So it's got to be good. You've got a bedroom here that was half designed by Jesse and Paige. Throw Ronnie and Georgia into this particular whirlwind, which we'll chat about how that went down a little later. And then Maddy and Charlotte turn up and go, oh, look, I know it's going to be beautiful, but it's not really our style. If we don't start doing our style now, it's going to be another week before the judges see what we're about. What should we do? So what did they do? It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. What did you think?
I think they made the right decision. I think a course correction to be more in line with what they are adept at, something that they are skilled and comfortable at, I think is the best possible outcome for them going into a competition, picking up where somebody left off. I don't think trying to lick and stick that other style would have been very wise. They probably would have been very uncomfortable. They probably would have been making decisions and second guessing every single one of them. And I think it would be the best possible outcome to respect the rest of the house, understand the building blocks in that style that they can work with, and then adapt to their own skill sets to how they perceive that house needs to be in that market. Their challenge was to marry the old with the new, and I think they did it very well. We did get a good sense of who we're dealing with just by seeing this sort of 1.5 day influence on this room.
Let's go back to the beginning then. They're holiday houses. Before you even walked into the rooms this week, did you have an idea of what you wanted to see out of a main bedroom in a holiday house?
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, this brief of the holiday home versus the everyday home, because there are different requirements and different amenity required. So, you know, you live differently in a holiday home. You're a little bit more joyous, a little bit less connected to work. You're a little bit more communal. You're a little bit more interested in living out of a suitcase. You know, those things that kind of disturb you about not having routine and a place to put things at home kind of feel like escapism when you're on holiday. It's one of the nice things. I very rarely unpack my whole suitcase unless I'm somewhere for more than a week. Me personally, if I'm doing a holiday home for myself, I don't have one main bedroom suite. Often it's a collaboration between family, friends, and all their kids, right? That's kind of the vibe of a holiday home. So to create 2 main bedroom suites in one home does make sense. To have kids' bedrooms or multi-purpose rooms where you can bring beds together so that they can be singles or they can be another king makes sense. So adaptability in amenity, but also a different allocation of space. I think that is one thing that you do differently in a holiday home that you don't necessarily do in an everyday home, because you can predict who's going to live in an everyday home. But with a holiday home, you don't necessarily have an insight into what that configuration of adults and children is going to be. It's also, there's a sense of theatre that you can apply to a holiday home that might be a little bit too eccentric for your everyday house.
All right, well then, Kylie and Brad's, why don't we jump straight to house 4? I think your words were yum, 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 yum.
Yeah, I might be creepy like that says things like yum, yum, yum and tick and ooh and touch stuff. Yes, that sounds like me.
Was that because they finally produced a room that you thought, okay, they've got it now, they've nailed their style? Was there something about this room that you thought was particularly yummy, 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 yummy?
I said in this week, now they've finally pulled off what they would do, what they were planning, the vision they had in their head. They've actually carried it through in a way that works. Mm-hmm. Because in their previous rooms, Kylie's idea of it's black, it's black, it's black, it's black, it's black would have actually worked beautifully, except it was the way it was carried out and the things that were put with it that were hard and jarring, right? There's a visual softness and a visual elegance in this palette this week. That shushugi bun is stunning. It is tactile. It's actually soft to touch visually. Yes, it's hard burned wood, but because it's broken up, because it has that nice sort of charred texture, it has a visual softness to it, even though it's black. The metallic ceiling, also a metallic, harsh finish, but it has visual softness. What she wasn't understanding was that there was a requirement for that palette that she was trying to achieve and trying to work with that needed softening.
And this is where the theatre comes in this room, what you were referring to before, is your holiday home can have that sort of element of quirkiness that perhaps you wouldn't want to live with every day. I think we see that in House 4.
100%. And how glorious was it, right? Like it was just luxy, had all the cues, all the beautiful things, touch points, velvets and shushugiban and all the yummy metallicness, like yum, 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 yum. That's why I said that.
We're talking ceilings, yes. Kylie and Brad did that sort of copper ceiling in there. The boys were a little ambitious with their ceiling detail. And look, that might have cost them the room. Really, again, another unfinished room here on the block. Was it worth it, Darren, do you think?
Personally, I don't think so, no. I think that when you've got so much work to do and you've had this history of every week not quite getting there, I wouldn't be biting off those details. I would be focusing on working backwards from the finite date, the absolute date that you've got, which is 9 a.m. on Sunday morning, and making sure everything is finished. They had so many things in there that were great inclusions that they didn't get the time to put in.
So look, a great idea for a ceiling to add theatre to any room, but only if you've got the time and the budget to do it.
I think it's a lovely detail, and I think lovely details in the block are some of the things that really make a huge difference to how a buyer is going to perceive it on auction day. But also, they are the things that make a huge difference to your budget and a huge difference to your timelines. And if they are the things that are costing you money and costing you time and you're not getting to finish and you're not even in the running to win a room, then I would say you aren't playing this game very well.
Does it feel like, though, they're getting a little bit more sophisticated in their thinking? The fact that they even came up with an element like that for a room shows me that they're learning, just not executing quite right yet.
100%. Everything that I saw that they had the intention of was great. Loved their direction.
Good. Glad to hear that, and I'm sure they will be too. Hey, we had a tie this week between House 2 and their best mates over in House 5. So Courtney and Grant tied with Christian and Mimi. You gave them both a 9.5. And that's fine. because they were beautiful rooms. We're sitting on the fence. Were you hoping that it would still tip one way or the other? Were you hoping that Shayna's points would tip towards one rather than the other, or were you happy for a tie?
I'm checking my notes. Hang on a second. I want to see why. Okay, I had good reasons. Look, so house 2, the lamp console situation, like, no good, right? Half a point, done. And then house 4, light above the bed. Oh no, hang on. We're talking about house 5. Paint. Here's a story for you. Here's a story from behind the block. I went in to get my makeup done that morning because I do love a touch of tinted moisturiser.
Something.
Just because I'm a man. Anyway, so I went in to get my makeup done, and it was maybe 8 o'clock, and Christian and Mimi are having a little nap on the couch in the area adjacent, sort of. And I was like, tools are not down yet.
Yeah, they must have finished. They must have had a cracking week.
And I got my makeup done. I walked out. I said, hope your room's perfect.
And they said,
Yeah. And then I walked in and went, well, that's not painted properly, and that's actually your job.
So had you not have seen them, would you have been looking as closely? Yes, you would have.
I would have, because
but the fact you knew
they
they were having a little snoozer.
Yep.
So was it really only half a point? Was there from 10, not judging against Courtney and Grant?
Yeah.
It was that good?
Yeah. And Mimi was like, so if we'd painted it, would I have gotten a 10? I'm like, yeah.
Which would have been extra cash, which would have been huge kudos.
Yep.
So you actually did hope that Courtney and Grant would win outright?
I actually don't know most weeks, Shell, to be honest with you. I do my scoring, and it's sort of in my little own vacuum, and I just hand it over, and that's that. So quite often, like today, I didn't know that we had a tie. I wasn't sure, because I don't discuss it with Marty and Shayna. I leave the site often without knowing who's won.
Oh, you got to watch the episode.
Yeah. That's why I love watching the block,
Love Sunday
mate.
nights.
I'm like, what did I say, and who's going to win?
The whole family sits down. What did you say, Daz? What did you say? And you're like, I don't know. You're going to have to watch the episode and see.
Whole family sits down like, shh, shush, shush.
I'm on.
Yes, I'm on. I'm on the television.
Do I look good? How's my tinted moisturiser?
Streaky.
You love seeing yourself on the telly.
I've never walked past a mirror I didn't like. Shit.
Oh, I love you. Hey, mate, so much more action to come. It is a cracking season. We love having you here on the Official Block podcast. Come back and chat again sometime.
I'm here to entertain, Shelley.
And you do, my friend. Up next, have you ever wondered what it would be like to be flung onto an island and tasked with finishing someone else's bedroom plans in a few days? No, I hadn't either until now. And I bet Maddy and Charlotte hadn't even thought that this might be the start of their block journey. They'll tell us exactly what it's like next. Let's face it, we all have those DIY projects around the house that we keep putting off. If you're not sure how to get started, go see our mighty good friends at Mitre 10. You'll find the best brands at great prices, experts that can deliver some mighty helpful advice, tips and tricks, and the right tools you need to get your DIY projects done right the first time. Visit mitre10.com.au. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Kinsman Kitchens are not only proud sponsors of the block, they're also the official kitchen supplier to the block as well. That's right, Kinsman has been helping transform homes for years with Australian-made cabinetry, on-trend looks and design solutions for all kinds of spaces and places. So when Kitchen Week rolls around on the block this year, remember the team behind our teams? Kinsman. For that welcoming feeling, the decision's always Kinsman. Book your free design appointment at kinsman.com.au. Well, the term the new kids on the block has never been more applicable. In the 20-year history of the show, these are our youngest contestants ever. and the only ones to be catapulted straight into the competition while the whole thing has been running for over 4 weeks. I am delighted to welcome to the Official Block podcast, Maddy and Charlotte. How are you, ladies?
Good.
Hello.
Hi, Shirley. How you going?
Well, look, I'm great, thank you. And it's lovely to be catching up with you because on air, we're sort of almost halfway through the show. You guys have just arrived. The whole place is blowing up. And in you rock, this sort of breath of fresh air in one way, but a whole derailment in another. Can you tell us what it was like when you first heard the news that you were going to join the block 4 weeks in?
It was about 2 p.m. on Easter Monday, and I got the call, and Malin was downstairs cooking a hot cross bun, and I screamed out. I was like, quick, they're on the phone.
And I just ran up the stairs. I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, what's happening? And she's like, quick, I'm going to answer. Like, it's the producer. And we thought that maybe they were going to start telling us why we didn't make it onto the block because we got the no. Mm-hmm. And then we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, they were like, so a couple has actually left the block. Can you be here tomorrow?
No, they said, can you be here? And I was like, when? And they're like, tomorrow. I was like, what? Tomorrow? I was like, oh, gosh, I feel like I have to think about this for a second.
And so we're like, give us a second. We rang our dad and we were like, is this a good idea? Like, you know, like, what do we do about work? Like, we have, like, people that work for us, all this stuff. And he was like, we'll figure it out. Like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
So literally,
off you go.
Less than 24 hours later, we were on a plane down to Melbourne and we arrived at the block.
That is crazy. So you had auditioned for the show like everybody else in the country and you'd got the call to say, sorry, ladies, you've missed out this time.
Yeah, so we got to the final round and then we got the call saying no. And so we just went on with our life for a month and then a month later got the call saying, come down now. And we were like, ah.
And you did. And I must say, when I met you on that first day, I hadn't sort of heard the news about Jessie and Paige, but hadn't really got my head around that either. And suddenly the two of you just turn up to a challenge. So that was very refreshing, I have to say. When you say you left your lives behind, what was going on in your life at that time? What were you up to?
Oh my goodness. Like it feels like a whirlwind. I barely even remember, but like we had just started a renovation. I'd actually like recently got back from being overseas for 7 months. So I had like shut down my life, like, and I was like, YOLO, I'm going to go traveling. Like, I'm going to enjoy life while I'm young.
We actually applied in the airport at France because we were both sitting there, had a 14-hour stopover, and we were like, oh, should we apply? It was like on the deadline of the block, like, application. And we're like, oh, yeah, why not?
And so, yeah, she had come to visit me for a few months. So, like, we were just getting back in the rhythm of, like, starting work up again and, like, all that kind of stuff. And then, yeah, it all just changed very quickly.
Oh, the joys of a 20-year-old. I'm just going to pack it up and go overseas for a few months, as I think everyone in their 20s should do, absolutely. So had you got the call over there, you would not have been back in time, but you just arrived back on our shores. You were setting up your business. And look, you did keep this a little bit quiet, and I don't think it was your doing particularly. You just had no time to talk to your fellow housemates about who you were and what you did and what you're up to. But you're fairly experienced in the old reno game, aren't you?
Look, everyone thinks we're really experienced, which is lovely, but like the block is a different kind of experience. We have renovated our own like homes, like little mining cottages in Newcastle, you know, a bit of white paint on the walls, some basic tiles because that's all we could afford.
Facebook Marketplace kitchen.
Like we literally removed someone's kitchen from their home and plonked it in our own new bench top. Like our experience is like,
we don't have a trade.
Completely different to the block. And so, yeah.
We felt very out of our depths, I must say. Although we thought we might have had experience, we definitely did not when we arrived at the block.
Well, let's be honest and break that down. That is real life renovation experience. That is what majority of Aussies renovating their homes are doing. No one's quite doing it the way we do it on the block, let's be fair.
Definitely not. I think our kitchen on the block was the same amount of money we spent on our entire renovation.
Yeah. Yes.
You're not talking just one. You've done a couple of these now, haven't you?
Yes. We have done a few. We were 19 and 21 when we bought my first property, and we lived in that and renovated that over 2 years. And
during COVID.
Charlotte studied uni online because it was during COVID full time, and I was doing accounting work, and we were just working.
We'd just work after work on the house, and then we'd do it all again, like 5 days a week kind of thing.
And then we subdivided that block and built a project home on the back of that and sold them. And like
with that money, then we put into my property. And then we're currently still doing that at the moment. And that's a little miner's cottage.
And then I bought another one with like the profits from that first one from my first property. So yeah, we have had a little bit of experience, but they're all very much the same. Like basically bringing them back to life because that's all we could afford. So keeping it simple, but also like you should see the state of these houses when we buy them.
Not very livable.
No.
It's a beautiful place to start. And look, neither was your block house, by the way. But by the time you got there, completely livable because Jessie and Paige had done a magnificent job on the rooms that they had created. When you first walked into your home, because I know, again, you didn't really know what on earth you might be taking on, what were your initial thoughts of your half-renovated house?
I think we were in like complete shock and like the intensity of like meeting all these people and walking in and like there's builders in here already, there's electricians. Like honestly, within like minutes of being there, people were like, so what's the electrical plan? I don't even think I looked at the rooms that they had completed, like all of them.
Like properly
until
Or
maybe
sleep.
like the next day. I mean, I might have poked my head into the bathroom, but like, and like maybe into the bedroom, but like I really didn't take it in until like later because there was just no time.
And there were so many people coming up, introducing themselves, and I'm like, hi, who are you? What do you do? And like Christian and Grant both came up and they're like, hi, I'm Christian, hi, I'm Grant. And I'm like, who are you?
She thought that they were a tradie.
And they're like, oh, I'm a contestant. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry.
God, and what a week to come in on. It is primary bedrooms. It's one of the most vital and valuable spaces of any home renovation. It's either the kitchen because that's where most of the money goes, it's the heart of the house, etc. But the primary bedroom is where the purchaser is going to spend their time. Yes. It wasn't just starting off with some dinky powder room, but a lot of things were ordered. A lot of the styling had already been decided on from Georgia. And then you sort of go, I mean, it's nice and it's good. And I'm looking around, I'm checking out the other rooms, but it's not what we want to do. It's not how we want to move forward with this house. Do we undo everything or do we just conform to the style that was already set in place?
That was such a hard couple of days because I think we came on the Wednesday, there was this chaos everywhere. Everyone's asking, where do you want this? And people are telling me, okay, Georgia's already ordered this. This is coming from here. This is how you confirm. Ring up this person to confirm this is happening. And it was just such an intense experience that I was just like, what is going on? Like, and then so all of a sudden when I'm looking at this mood board, which is stunning, Georgia, we've been a fan of her design like since we were little children.
Very talented.
It was beautiful, but all of a sudden, like as the days went on, and you caught me on the Friday when I was like in the peak of my like, oh my goodness, this is a crisis.
Georgia leaned into the
Modern colonial.
Modern colonial, which was great because that fit with the rest of the house, but that wasn't what we were wanting to continue throughout the rest of the house.
And we thought if there's 5 rooms that are like very cemented in that style, it's going to be very hard for us to phase out of that. Like, and
especially
as much
as the main room.
Oh, but 4, not a problem.
Yeah, not a problem. It's fine.
But then Scotty and Shelley walkarounds happened on Friday morning, and then they gave us a little bit of boost of confidence to say, just do what you want.
And so
stuff it all. So we threw it all out the window Friday morning.
And then it was like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board because I just wasn't confident that I was going to be able to execute that design that someone else had created. And because modern like colonial is so far from like, well, it's not so far, but it's quite different to what I would have like in my personal style. So I just didn't feel confident that I was going to be able to execute someone else's style. As much as it was a beautiful like mood board and all the pieces were beautiful, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this for this room, and I don't know how I'm going to do this for the rest of the house. So I was like, look, I'd rather this room not be our best because we're only going to have like, really, by the time we made the decision, we're going to have one day to turn this around.
And reorder everything.
I'd rather this not be perfection, but it be more workable with the rest of the house.
And then also I think we wanted the judges' feedback to see if like what they thought of us changing slight styles.
And also we have no experience when it comes to style. Like,
styling is not our forte.
We might be
all.
able to paint a wall white, but besides that, that's as good as you're going to get.
Well, it's really interesting though because you've absolutely taken the styling role.
Yeah.
And I can hear just from this conversation that you had very distinct roles from the minute you arrived. How did that pan out? Because it sounds like the work that you have done back in Newey, you were working on the projects together, but there is definitely a stylist and definitely a project manager.
Yeah, I think naturally I probably take more of a project manager role and more of an on-site. I feel like I have a bit more of a knack with like knowing how
She's very much a
Systems.
tradie lady. Like, give her a tool and she can figure it out. Where I'd look at it and be like, someone please just show me and I'll figure it out eventually. But she's like, I've got this. Like, off I go.
I'm a bit of a problem solver. I'll find a
Yeah.
solution to it. May not be the best at everything. But
But
that's
she's
why-
like, she's more than happy. Like, there'll be a whole lot of different screws and she'll know this is a bugle, this is that. And I'm like, huh?
What do you think of this painting? Huh?
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely say I'm not a stylist or that's not my thing. But if one of us is going to be that.
she's
like,
more of the accounts.
Yeah, like my background's like accounting. So I've got the books, like I'm sorting out the
She's
big
paying the
picture stuff,
bills.
the budget. So it kind of made sense that if I was controlling the budget, I'd control what we were going to buy.
Do you wish you'd been there from the beginning, or do you think you're owed 4 weeks of the next series? You just do the first 4 weeks and then back out.
leave.
Imagine that. No, we do. Look, we're very grateful for the experience that we did get. Like, what a once in a lifetime opportunity. But I think things would have been a lot simpler if we had come in from the beginning. I think there was just a lot of catching up to do when it came to the reno itself, but also
Relationships
the
with people.
relationships. And I think, yeah, like we would have loved to have shown Australia our personal style, and got to make decisions, like architectural decisions that really we couldn't make anymore because it was too late.
Couldn't change really the floor plan of some things.
We would have made that main bathroom bigger. We would have changed this. We would have not removed a window here. Things like that we wish we had the opportunity to do. But I think at the same time, we're grateful for the experience and we're just going to make the most of it.
Oh, look, I would love to see you back again, absolutely, and anytime. I am really looking forward to seeing your journey unfold for the audience because I know how hard you worked. I know how difficult it was coming in. And the fact that you banged out a room in 3 days is certainly a way to prove that you were up for the Block Challenge. But here at the Official Block Podcast, we have a different kind of challenge. Would you like to play one of our podcast games?
We
I don't
would,
think we're ready
but
for
we don't know
this.
how good we're going to be at this. We listened to Christian and Mimi's and we were like, oh,
We would've got
dear.
0.
I would have got
Oh,
0.
yeah.
Isn't that embarrassing?
Well,
hope
we
they're
will
easy.
play. We will play next, and of course, it's all thanks to Mighty Helpful Mighty 10. Back in a minute. If you're building or renovating like our block contestants, make sure Cosentino is a part of your design plans. With bench tops and surfaces for indoors and outdoors, Cosentino offers 2 amazing products. There's Decton, an ultra-compact porcelainic surface that's scratch and stain resistant, fireproof and backed by a 25-year warranty. And Sensor is Cosentino's stunning natural stone collection. With a unique protective treatment, you'll enjoy a maintenance-free benchtop with a 15-year warranty. Visit cosentino.com to find your nearest showroom. The Block is all about creativity, imagination and inventiveness. But you don't have to be a blockhead to use your spirit of inventiveness in your home. I love this Amazon customer who bought upholstery tacks and used them to create an impressive feature wall in her bedroom. She wrote, "It was way cheaper than wallpaper and I've used 500 tacks so far." Now, that is a 10 out of 10 for inventiveness from me. Real Amazon customers, real reviews, really. Amazon.com.au. This game is all thanks to Mitre 10, who I might say were mighty helpful for you this week with providing that gorgeous hardy panel wall in no time at all. So thank you again, Mitre 10. Yeah. Hey, here's a fun fact. I know you didn't get to explore Phillip Island quite like the others did, but did you know that the Phillips head screwdriver was invented by Governor Arthur Phillip, who was the first governor of New South Wales, and the man that Phillip Island is named after?
Really?
No.
That
That's a
is
fun fact.
Such a fun fact.
Got to use that one,
Actually,
Shelley.
it's not true at all, but
Oh,
it
you
could have
are so
been and it would have
talented.
been.
I was shocked.
So look how gullible we are. We're like, wow.
Well, look, it did get us thinking about other Australian towns and places that have sort of tool-like names.
Oh no.
So, in this game, you will hear a list of some of the best ones that we discovered, but there is a twist. Just like my Phillips head screwdriver fact, some of these are not true tool towns.
Oh,
They're just made up words.
okay.
But some of them are true tool towns. Okay, so you can work together on this one. This is a team effort. We're not pitting you against each other. Are you ready to play? This is basically true or false answers.
Okay.
Yes, we've got this.
Okay.
50.
Yeah, 50-50 chance.
Our first town is Hammer Hill.
I'm going to go true.
Yeah. True.
True? Both of you true? Yes, you
Sounds
are
good.
right. It's in WA, and if you're looking for the nearest Mitre 10, you'll find it in Kalgoorlie, just in case you're in the area.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Second town is Drillham.
Nah, that can't be real.
Like, I feel like it could be. If it's not, it should be. I'm going to...
No, I say false.
Okay, we'll go false then.
Oh, no, it is true.
Sorry.
It's a Queensland town.
Drillham.
Drillham.
against each
And
other.
I think it's Marilla. The Mitre 10 in Marilla is about 15 minutes drive away.
Wow.
If you're up that way,
We're gonna
go
have to visit all these
Queenslander.
places.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do a road trip.
Yeah.
Oh, this would be good. A Mitre 10 road trip. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, what about Barrowton?
Surely if two have been true, one has to be false.
Yeah, surely our odds are nearly false. But it sounds like it could be again.
Maybe they're all true.
Barrowton.
No, actually, surely they're all true.
I'm going to go true.
True.
Oh, no, it is
Oh, it's
false.
false?
It is a real town in Game of Thrones.
Oh, there you go. I haven't even watched that.
No, and there is no Mitre 10 there, but I'm sure it would have
Okay.
been mighty helpful if there was.
Yeah.
For sharpening your swords or whatever
Yeah.
they do there. All right, here's the next one. It is Sanderston.
Ooh.
I don't know. How do you even make these decisions?
I'm going to say
True.
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 Yes, you got another one.
Wow, go
South
on.
Australia, the town of Sanderston. It's near Gawler.
Oh.
Mighty 10 is also there if you need some help with your DIY.
They're everywhere, aren't they?
They are everywhere. What about this one? Grinderdale.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
Grinderdale.
No.
It's a bit too
Yeah,
much.
there isn't, and I'm so
Yeah.
glad because I don't think
Yeah.
I'd want to go there,
Yeah,
even if there was
yeah.
a Grinderdale somewhere. Not for me. And it just goes to show that unless you live somewhere that is totally made up and doesn't exist, there's probably a mighty helpful Mitre 10 near you somewhere. You can find your nearest Mitre 10 at mitre10.com.au. Mitre 10, helping you get the job done right the first time. Girls, it's lovely playing with you. Thank you very much for joining us here at the official Block podcast. I wish you all the best with your continuing Block journey, and I do think you should ask to do the 4 weeks of the next series.
I think so.
You put in a word to Scotty, hey?
Yeah.
I will do. I'll go, mate. You know.
We'll do a PowerPoint presentation and tell them why.
Just for the first 4 weeks.
Fair
Then we're
draw.
out of here.
All right. If it wasn't the first 4 weeks, would you do a whole new series? Would you come back as All Stars?
I feel like you would be crazy to turn that opportunity down.
But then you'd also be crazy to say yes.
yeah. And we are a little crazy, as everyone will find out. So, look, probably would
Probably.
say yes. Although I'm still recovering, I must say.
I think you're crazy enough. Sign them up, Scotty. They're ready to go. Thanks,
so
ladies.
much,
Speak to you
Kelly.
soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Don't miss the block this week on 9 as the hearts of the homes start coming to life. Yes, it's kitchen week, but who will have the winning recipe? Follow or subscribe to find out as soon as you can, and I'll talk to you then. Feeling inspired by our Blockheads challenges? Think you can nail it too? Well, our mighty friends at Mitre 10 can deliver some mighty helpful advice when you're looking to recreate these block projects in your own home. So whether it's making an art gallery wall, perhaps building a plinth for your sculpture, or doing a retaining wall in the garden, let the mighty experts at Mitre 10 help you nail your DIY project the first time. Visit mitre10.com.au. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. There's nothing quite like coming home to something you adore each day. Our friends at Kinsman Kitchens believe that's the feeling you should experience every time you step into your kitchen. With Australian-made cabinetry, on-trend looks and styles, an expert Kinsman designer can help you create a kitchen that not only looks great, but is functional for you and your family. For that welcoming feeling, the decision's always Kinsman. Book your free design appointment at kinsman.com.au. Thanks for listening to the Block Podcast. Remember, if you're building or renovating, Cosentino benchtops and surfaces are the absolute best from Spain, perfect for indoors and out. There's the ultra-compact porcelainic Decton, which is scratch and stain resistant, fireproof and backed by a 25-year warranty. And with the stunning Sensor Natural Stone Collection, you'll get maintenance-free benchtops with a 15-year warranty. Like our contestants, install the best for your home. Visit cosentino.com to find your nearest showroom. The Block is all about creativity, imagination and inventiveness. But you don't have to be a blockhead to use your spirit of inventiveness in your home. And some of the simplest ideas can be the most effective, like this Amazon customer. He bought 6 smart home plugs and attached them to all the lamps in his living room. Now they all turn on simultaneously at dusk, which in his words creates an awesome ambience. Well done, mate. That is a great idea. Real Amazon customers, real reviews, really. Amazon.com.au.